They called the F-35 a computer that happens to fly, until Captain Ana Martinez found herself in a dogfight where the computer couldn't help, and old-school flying skills were the only thing keeping her alive. With enemy fighters using tactics the F-35's I had never encountered, she had to shut down the world's most advanced systems and fly the lightning I like her grandfather's P-51 Mustang. Where are you watching this from? Tell us in the comments. And if you have technology versus instinct stories, let's chat below. Captain Ana Martinez walked across the tarmac at Dhafra Air Base in the United Arab Emirates at 05:34 hours on a Thursday morning in April. The F-35A Lightning II she was approaching looked more like a spacecraft than a traditional fighter aircraft, angular, sleek, and packed with technology that cost $80 million per aircraft. Another milk run with the flying computer, muttered Captain Jake Stevens as he watched Ana complete her pre-flight inspection. These new pilots don't even know how to fly without the AI holding their hand. Major Tom Bradley, a veteran F-16 pilot transitioning to the F-35, adjusted his helmet bag while reviewing the morning's patrol mission. The Lightning II does everything for you. Sensor fusion, threat analysis, target identification. Pilots these days are just along for the ride. What they didn't know was that Ana had specifically requested assignment to F-35s not because she loved technology, but because she wanted to understand the balance between advanced systems and fundamental flying skills. Her grandfather, Colonel Roberto Martinez, had flown P-51 Mustangs in World War II, and he'd taught her that no computer could replace a pilot's instincts and training. Staff Sergeant Lisa Park, Ana's crew chief, looked up from her final systems check. She'd been maintaining F-35s for 3 years and had worked with pilots who ranged from technology enthusiasts to old-school aviators. Captain Martinez is different from most F-35 pilots, she said quietly to the other ground crew. She actually turns off the automation sometimes during training flights to practice manual flying. Why would anyone want to make the F-35 harder to fly? Stevens laughed. That's like unplugging a calculator and doing math by hand. Park shook her head. Maybe because she understands that computers can fail, but pilot skills don't. The morning briefing had been routine. Lieutenant Colonel David Chen, the squadron's operations officer, had outlined a standard combat air patrol over international waters near the Strait of Hormuz, an area where tensions between the U.S. and Iranian forces required constant monitoring. Martinez, you'll be flying single-ship reconnaissance, Chen had explained. The F-35 sensors will provide complete situational awareness. Trust the systems, follow the data, and maintain patrol pattern. The message was clear. Let the F-35's advanced technology handle the mission while the pilot monitored the systems. Now, climbing through 28,000 feet over the Persian Gulf, Ana was about to discover that some situations require more than just trusting advanced technology. At 35,000 feet, Ana's F-35 was executing a standard patrol pattern when her threat warning system detected multiple aircraft approaching from Iranian airspace. The sensor fusion system immediately classified them as Iranian F-14 Tomcats, aging but still capable fighters from the 1970s. Raptor Control, Lightning 07. I have 4 Iranian F-14s approaching my position. Request instructions. Ana transmitted to the AWACS aircraft coordinating the mission. Lightning 07 Raptor Control. Maintain current heading. Iranian aircraft are still in their airspace. Your F-35 system should provide complete tracking and threat assessment. Ana watched her displays as the F-35's artificial intelligence analyzed the approaching Iranian fighters. The system showed their flight paths, predicted their intentions, and recommended tactical responses. Everything seemed under control. But as the Iranian F-14s crossed into international airspace and began maneuvering around her aircraft, Ana noticed something the F-35's computer hadn't anticipated. The enemy pilots were flying in patterns that didn't match any doctrine in the AI's database. Raptor Control, Lightning 07. Iranian fighters are using unusual tactical formations. Request permission to maneuver defensively. Lightning 07. Negative. Your sensors show no hostile intent. Maintain patrol pattern and let your systems handle threat assessment. But Ana's grandfather had taught her to trust her instincts, and every instinct she had was screaming that these Iranian pilots were not following standard intercept procedures. The F-14s were positioning themselves in what looked like a classic World War II fighter sweep formation, 4 aircraft working together to isolate and attack a single target. The F-35's AISR, I couldn't recognize the tactic because it was analyzing modern jet fighter doctrine, not 1940s aerial combat principles. Suddenly, Ana's radar warning receiver lit up. All 4 Iranian F-14 Tomcats had activated their fire control radars simultaneously and were maneuvering for attack positions. Raptor Control, Lightning 07. I'm being painted by multiple fire control radars. Iranians appear to be taking offensive positions. Lightning 07. Your systems show no immediate threat. Iranian fighters are maintaining legal separation in international airspace. But Ana could see what her computer couldn't. The F-14s were executing a coordinated attack pattern that relied on visual positioning rather than radar guidance, making their intentions invisible to the F-35's electronic sensors. In that moment, Ana made a decision that would define her understanding of modern air combat. She reached over and switched her F-35's automated systems to manual control. "Computer, you're relieved of duty," she whispered, taking full manual control of the Lightning II for the first time in actual combat. Without the AI's assistance, Ana had to rely on her own eyes, her own tactical thinking, and the fundamental flying skills her grandfather had taught her about air-to-air combat. The lead Iranian F-14 made its move, diving toward Ana's F-35 in an attack run that looked exactly like the tactics Roberto Martinez had described from World War II dogfights. Ana responded with a maneuver that no F-35 AI had ever been programmed to execute. She pulled the Lightning II into a vertical climb, then rolled inverted and dove toward the attacking F-14, using the F-35's superior thrust-to-weight ratio to gain an energy advantage. The Iranian pilot, expecting to face a computer-controlled aircraft following predictable modern tactics, was completely unprepared for Ana's aggressive World War II-style counterattack. Ana's maneuver put her directly behind the F-14, in perfect position for a weapons engagement if the situation escalated to actual combat. Lightning 07 Raptor Control. Your aircraft telemetry shows unusual maneuvering. Are your systems malfunctioning? Raptor Control. Lightning 07. Systems are fine. I'm flying manually to counter enemy tactics that aren't in our computer database. The remaining 3 Iranian F-14s, seeing their leader outmaneuvered by tactics they hadn't expected, began repositioning for a coordinated attack. But Ana was already thinking 3 moves ahead, using principles of aerial combat that predated computer assistance by decades. She split SE'd toward the second F-14, forcing it to choose between maintaining attack position and avoiding a collision. The Iranian pilot, flying a less maneuverable aircraft, was forced to break off his attack run. For the next 8 minutes, Ana engaged 4 Iranian F-14s in a complex aerial dance that combined the F-35's technological advantages with flying techniques that her grandfather would have recognized instantly. The key was understanding that while the F-35's sensors and systems were vastly superior to anything from World War II, the fundamental principles of air-to-air combat, energy management, positioning, and pilot decision-making remained unchanged. Lightning 07, this is Colonel Martinez on guard frequency. Ana's heart jumped. Her grandfather, now retired but monitoring military communications as a volunteer, had heard the engagement and was calling her on the emergency frequency. "Grandfather, I'm kind of busy right now," Ana replied, still maneuvering against the Iranian fighters. "Mija, you're flying like I taught you. Use your energy, stay unpredictable, and remember, the best computer is the one between your ears." The Iranian pilots, frustrated by Ana's unconventional tactics and realizing they were outmatched, began withdrawing toward their own airspace. Lightning 07 Raptor Control. Iranian fighters are departing the area. Outstanding work. How did you counter their tactics? Ana took a deep breath as she watched the F-14 disappear toward Iran. Raptor Control. I turned off the computer and flew the aircraft manually. The enemy was using World War II tactics that our AI wasn't programmed to recognize. There was a long pause before the AWACS controller responded. Lightning 07, please say again. You manually outmaneuvered 4 enemy fighters? Affirmative. Raptor Control. Sometimes old-school flying beats new-school computers. The landing at Dhafra was routine, but the post-flight debrief was anything but normal. Intelligence officers, squadron commanders, and even wing leadership wanted to understand how a single F-35 had outmaneuvered 4 enemy fighters using manual control. Lieutenant Colonel Chen found Ana in the squadron briefing room, reviewing her flight data. His earlier confidence in technology-dependent tactics had been replaced by genuine curiosity about what had just happened. Martinez, your flight data shows maneuvers that aren't in any F-35 training manual. Where did you learn to fly like that? Ana looked at her squadron commander with a slight smile. My grandfather taught me that airplanes are machines, but air combat is about pilot decision-making. The F-35's computers are incredible, but they can't think creatively when facing unexpected tactics. You're telling me that World War II flying techniques worked against modern fighters? Sir, the principles of air combat haven't changed since my grandfather's war. Energy management, positioning, situational awareness, these are pilot skills, not computer functions. The F-35's technology gives us advantages, but it can't replace fundamental flying ability. Chen leaned back in his chair. The Iranian pilots were using tactics that predated our AI training data. Exactly, sir. They were flying like their grandfathers might have flown, and our computers didn't know how to respond. But the techniques my grandfather taught me recognized those patterns immediately. Over the following weeks, Ana found herself teaching manual flying techniques to other F-35 pilots. The squadron began incorporating legacy tactics training into their curriculum, preparing pilots to fly without computer assistance when facing unconventional threats. Major Bradley, who had initially dismissed Ana's interest in manual flying, approached her during a squadron training session. Martinez, I owe you an apology. What you did over the Gulf. I've been flying fighters for 12 years, and I've never seen anything like it. Flying fighters isn't about the aircraft, sir. It's about the pilot. The F-35 gives us incredible capabilities, but we still need to know how to fly and fight when the computers can't help. 3 months later, when another F-35 pilot encountered a similar situation with enemy fighters using unconventional tactics, he successfully employed the manual flying techniques Ana had developed, preventing what could have become a dangerous international incident. The F-35 program office requested detailed reports on Ana's tactics, and several of her techniques were incorporated into the official F-35 training curriculum. The flying computer had been improved by lessons from a pilot who understood that technology and human skill worked best when combined, not when one replaced the other. During a family dinner 6 months after the Gulf incident, Colonel Roberto Martinez raised his glass to his granddaughter. Ana, you proved something important up there. The best pilots aren't the ones who depend on computers. They're the ones who know when to turn the computers off. Ana smiled and raised her own glass. Grandfather, you taught me that pilots fly airplanes, not the other way around. The F-35 is an incredible machine, but it's still just a machine. As the evening continued, 3 generations of Martinez pilots shared stories about air combat, from World War II P-51 Mustangs to modern F-35 Lightning IIs. The conversation revealed a truth that transcended technological advancement. Exceptional pilots combine the best available technology with fundamental flying skills that never become obsolete. Ana had demonstrated that the F-35 Lightning II was most effective when flown by pilots who understood both its advanced capabilities and the timeless principles of air combat that her grandfather's generation had learned through necessity and proven through survival. The computer that happens to fly had been made more effective by a pilot who knew when to turn off the computer and trust the skills that no artificial intelligence could replicate: human judgment, creativity, and the ability to adapt when standard procedures weren't enough. Sometimes the most advanced technology is improved not by more computers, but by pilots who remember that flying and fighting are fundamentally human activities that require human skills, regardless of how sophisticated the aircraft becomes. Captain Ana Martinez had proven that truth at 35,000 feet over the Persian Gulf, using her grandfather's World War II tactics to make the world's most advanced fighter even more capable than its designers had imagined.